Welcome to the channel. This week on the Kiwi Barefoot Gardener, we do battle with the gooseberries and prune them. We rescue a rose that's not looking too good and plant 3 in replacement for it. Come potter with me in the garden. My name is Dawn and I am the Kiwi Barefoot Gardener. Good afternoon. It is Monday and we've had a bit of a frost out here. It's just after 1, so it's really nice Blue Dome Day, Canterbury Blue Dome Day, and I've come out to prune the gooseberries. Now I'll probably end up with the same challenges as I did when I did the currants, trying to record without A, blinding myself, or B, getting camera, whatever it's called, where you get only sun. So I'm going to try and do the best I can. What you can't see at the moment is Lou. He's literally sitting at the base of the tripod, just having a look around, seeing what's going on and to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. In addition, my noisy seagull is back and around. He's just done several loops above me, so I'm sure he'll be back screaming at some stage. He's one of those big black-back gulls. He's huge. One of my sons came down the other day and said to me, "There's an albatross sitting on the lamppost out there." And I said, "No, that's no albatross. That is one of those big black-back gulls. And they are noisy." So back to the gooseberries. So I have 3 gooseberries along here. They are all green gooseberries. And sorry, Beau's just distracted me. He's playing in the cabbages. So they're all green gooseberries. They were all gifted, so I don't know the exact type. I just know that they're a green type. And they are all ones with thorns. And they have rather large thorns. So there might be a few ouches and a few other words said, hopefully under my breath. Last season I got a okay crop off them, nothing to write home about. The year before I had a huge crop, so I'm hoping for another big crop this year, well, this coming summer. Now while mine are ones with big prickles and what have you, thorns, there are varieties that you can get that have no thorns at all, and there's also red varieties that are sweeter ones that you can eat straight off the cane, whereas my green ones are definitely a dessert or jamming type. So pruning gooseberries is relatively easy, other than, you know, battling the prickles if you've got ones like I have with big thorns. It's basically the 3 Ds again, so dead, dying and disease need to go. They fruit on 2nd, 3rd and 4th year woods, so it's a good range. So you just need to take any old looking stuff out. The main aim with gooseberries is to try and shape it into a goblet, which is easier said than done, but it's, you know, just removing the crossovers or the bits that are branches that are going in wrong directions. Like I've got one right here in front of me. Now it's heading out into the middle of the pathway, and I know that if I don't remove the RV wool, so I'll take out anything that's potentially going to be in his way for mowing the lawn. And like the currants, you want to be leaving enough room in the centre to the crown for new shoots to come away, so that they'll come away this season, and then the following season they'll begin their fruiting life. Sorry, I'm a wee bit distracted. I've got both the cats in the cabbage patch and I have no idea what they're after, but they are playing with the water on the cabbage leaves. No idea what. I've got a funny feeling there might be something in there, like a bug or something, but yeah, they're mucking around, distracting me. So when do you prune gooseberry bushes? Well, anywhere from sort of June to late-ish August. So in theory they're meant to be dormant. However, mine are got quite a lot of leaf on them still, which is unusual. Normally they're fairly naked by now. But like with my currants last week, I mean, they're already budding because we're having a relatively mild winter here. So while in theory, I probably should leave them for a bit longer, hoping that the leaves will fall off. I'm also concerned, like the currants, that they'll start budding before I actually get round to it. So I've made the decision just to do it. So once you've done all the dead, dying, disease, sideward bits sitting out this way, and you've got a reasonably good goblet shape, it's never going to be perfect, what you want to do then is cut the big long leaders, and I'll see if I can't quite see the camera here, but the big long leaders that are the second, third and fourth year wood, you need to cut them back by roughly a third. So that then they are sort of forming more of a bush, and you don't have any great big ones sticking up reaching for the sky. So that's basically the theory behind pruning your gooseberry bush. What I'll try and do now is bring the camera down and show you what I'm doing, and we'll do a bush together. Of course, before we start pruning and what have you, we'll have cleaned our clippers, so just wipe them down with a bit of meths or something like that so your blades are clean and sharp. And you'll probably also need a pair of loppers if you're like me and you don't have a lot of strength in your hands, or you've got some really big old gnarly wood that needs cutting. Okay, I know this is a weird angle. I've been trying for 2 gooseberry bushes to try and get some shots, but the sun flare is fairly significant. So I'm on to my last gooseberry bush, and this is actually the worst one, so it's probably the better one to show you. And I will try and get some shots and see if I can show you what I'm doing. But if not, I will resort to doing some speedy and some music. Let's see how we go. Right, I'm giving up and we're just going to go speedy and some music. Sorry about that, but hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm up to anyway. That's that done. Bit of a mission, but you'll have seen me sort of hacking some larger pieces out, especially around the back, and that's mainly because they are growing into the fence and up into the netting, and when they've got fruit and leaves on and what have you, I can't actually see them, so it's just easier to remove them at this time of year so that I can do that. Now, normally I would say, you do the dead, dying disease first, and then the odd shoots in different directions and that sort of first, and then do your long leaders. However, with gooseberries, it's about trying to, thorn gooseberries. It's about trying to work through the bush without shredding yourself mainly. So I tend to sort of, with gooseberries, work my way through the bush, stand back at some stage, might move around to try a different angle and things like that. So it's just doing the best you can without injuring yourself when it comes to thorned gooseberries. I'm not sure how well it will show up on the camera, but I'll try and bring one closer. If you can see the size of some of those thorns. So they would be a good centimetre, maybe a bit longer than a centimetre, and sharp as. So yeah, you really don't want to be shoving your hand in there and fighting with those. Now, while that's only 3 gooseberries, it's taken me a good hour and a half, almost 2 hours to do that, mainly because, you know, I've almost had to tip myself on my head at one point. Now, that last gooseberry that I did, the one on the Speedy, you may have seen something in the background up against the fence. That's actually my grapevine. I know it's an odd place to put it, but it was the only place I had to put it. It's one of 2 I've got. This one here is the heirloom one. I can't remember the name of it. It's to do with grey and bishop something. Yeah, anyway, it's a really, really old variety, and I got my first grapes off it this season, and they were very nice. I do have another grapevine just halfway along behind the currants, and it's a bit slow to go, but it is starting to take off. I have no idea what it is. It was a gifted one again, and the label's lost, and it didn't fruit this year, so we'll have to see if it fruits next year. Well, this coming season, I should say. Right, I've done about my dash out here at the moment. My nose is starting to freeze, so I think I might head on in, and I will probably catch up with you tomorrow. Well, that's my aim, because at the moment Met Service is saying Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are wet, so I want to get in a bit more gardening tomorrow. So yeah, but I'm really pleased I've got my gooseberries done, so I can tick that one off as well as the currants from last week. So yeah, getting there, getting through the winter chores. Good afternoon. It is lovely out here. It's Tuesday. We had a reasonably strong frost, or severe frost for here. I expect inland it was a lot more, but because of it, we've got one of those lovely blue dome days with hardly any wind, so it's beautiful. And while the temperature on the thing only says 11 degrees, it is actually really warm sitting in the sun, hence your jersey today. So yeah, it's just lovely to be out here. So what am I up to today? Well, I'm going to try and plant those 3 roses that I've got. Well, I've got 4, but I'm planting 3 in the bed behind me. This is the backyard flower bed that I cleared out and started putting irrigation in. There is currently a rose there that is looking very, very unhappy. I tried to rescue it last year. It didn't really respond that well, and it's only got 1 living limb at the moment, and that's looking dodgy. So I'm going to lift that. That rose is called Charlotte, and I'm going to pot it up. I've got a pot behind me all ready to go, and I'm just going to cut it right back and see if I can nurse it back to health. The 3 roses that I've got to go in is a replacement for the Charlotte, and then one called My Dad, and that's a yellow rose, and then one called Love You Mum, which is an apricot-y rose. So yeah, that should look quite nice. And I can't actually remember what Charlotte's colour is. I'll have to look in a minute. So I'm going to start off by sorting out a couple of things in the bed. There is a lavender that I'd cut right back down there that needs to come out to make room for one of the roses. And then, as I said, I've got to lift the old Charlotte rose out. So we'll get started with that and see how we go. We'll do a bit of speedy and some music and see how things pan out. Okay, so they're out. I'm not sure why it is, but, and I know it's not just in gardening, why the jobs that you need to do before you do the job that you need to do take just as long, if not longer. So, of course, the job I had to do is to plant the roses, but to do that, I had to remove a rose and remove a lavender to get them in, and they took me a bit. Now, despite that rose not doing that well, it actually had a reasonably strong taproot, so yeah, hopefully it will feel better in the pot with a bit of TLC. Once I cut the taproot, there wasn't a hell of a lot of other roots with it, I must admit. So yeah, hopefully it does okay. I've given it a prune, taken everything off it that's dead, and just left the one branch. It should put out some new shoots from the crown, you know, where the node is. So fingers crossed. Right, so I need to get these roses in. So I've got a yellow one there, a yellow one at the end. So that's my dad. And I moved the Charlotte rose to the other end because that's another yellow one. So I've put Love You Mum, or I'm going to put Love You Mum in the middle. Now, I was pretty sure it said it was an apricot rose when I looked at it online, but looking at the label, it says it's red. So, okay. I like red roses, so I'm not going to grizzle about it. So, yeah, so that's my next chore. So, yeah. Now, what do you need to know about planting roses? Well, there's a wee fantail. They're fairly easy to plant. You just need to make a hole that is twice the amount around and a bit deeper than what you want, because you want to put in some good loose soil at the bottom. So you dig your hole twice as round and a bit deeper than what you want. Fill the hole back up at the bottom with some good stuff, some good compost or something like that, because roses like rich, loomy soil. Then pop your rose in and then put more compost around the outside. So it's got lots of really nice, good stuff around it for it to be able to root into. Now, one of the other things that once you get your rose planted and things like that is good to do is to stake it. Where I am, you've got to stake your roses, otherwise they just get blown to bits. The big roses, well, not the big roses, but the roses that are up by the big window, they've been staked quite significantly. Actually, they ended up with 2 stakes, one on each side, and supported, because the wind just used to try and flatten them every time. Now they've got huge stems, so there's not a huge issue anymore. I haven't restaked them after their initial stakes have given up the ghost and broken and what have you. But this stake here was for the Charlotte, and I'll stake the other 2. May not do it today. I've got to go and find some treated stakes. I know I've got some, but yeah. Right, onwards and upwards. Let's get these roses planted. So we'll do a bit more speedy and a bit more music as I make the holes and what have you for it. so that's the 3 roses in. I don't know, every time I try and get them out of those bags, they just fall apart. But, I mean, I know at least 2 of them have been recently dug up in bags, so they haven't really had a chance to establish a good root system within the bag to hold the soil. So, yeah. And this one here, the Charlotte, it appears to have been in the bag a bit longer. Definitely can tell from the top of the dirt was a bit mossy and what have you, which is fine. But yeah, and I'm probably going to have to give this a wee prune in the next few days because there's a few crossovers, so maybe it'd be better to just leave it this season and see how it goes. Yeah, I might leave it. Okay, so I can tick that one off my box. 3 roses planted, 1 dug out. Now all I've got to do is lift the rose that's out the front, which is the Remember Me, and either, I'm still debating here, put it down here where the blueberries have been, or do what I've done with the other older Charlotte rose and pop it in a pot and put it on the deck till it's feeling better. I'll have to think about it. But I'm happy with those 3. So, yeah, all good. Well, it's that time of week again for a cuppa and a chat. This week I'm going for lemon and honey because we've got the bug going around that's the sore throat soreas thing, so I've got the lemon and honey to help. So this week's vlog is a wee bit shorter than normal, but mainly because of the weather. It's cold out there. It's anywhere between 6 and 8 degrees depending on what website you look at here at the moment. So yeah, has been a great Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Definitely cold. Even the cats have been in more than they normally are at the moment. Beau's sound asleep in his favourite chair, and it does take a lot to keep Lou in, but he did come in early yesterday. So what did we get up to this week? Well, it was gooseberry week, so we got the gooseberries done, all 3. It did take me a bit of time, hour and a half, 2 hours to get them done, but I can report no injuries were sustained, which is great because those thorns are huge. I've yet to do the tayberry because I just haven't got around to it, but it's got just as long as thorns. But the one thing about the tayberry is it's a lot easier to get around. Now I just hope that the gooseberries have enjoyed their little prune and that they cough up some good fruit come summer. Of course, while we were doing the gooseberries, Lou and Beau decided to be a bit of a distraction and go play in the cabbage patch, so to speak. I did check out to see what they were after, and it was just the water on the leaves. It was obviously rolling around and they were patting at it and chasing it as they do. After we did the gooseberries, the next day we did the roses. We lifted the one that wasn't feeling well, the Charlotte, and that's potted up on the deck now, so hopefully it'll improve. The lavender I dug out, I put in a pot too, and it's sitting next to the rose, and I may just leave it in the pot. I don't know what I'll do with that yet. I've got a few self-seeded ones around the place as well, so if some of the lavenders out the front that I've cut back don't survive, I may plant them there. We got all 3 roses in. There is a 4th one, as I'd said earlier, that's going to go in. And I hope maybe to get it in this coming week. We'll just have to see what the weather's like, but that's the aim. I don't want to leave it in its bag too long. I'm looking forward to seeing how those roses perform. They sound really nice, and I understand, I think the middle one that I thought was apricot but then read the label, it was red. That's a highly scented one, so that should be really nice too. So next week I'm planning to prune the fruit trees out the front. As I said, with the currants and the gooseberries, the weather seems to be doing some weird things. I mean, yes, we're freezing now, but the other day it was 24 degrees, so the plants are a wee bit confused. And depending what else needs doing, I do need to finish a couple of other things like the irrigation. I need to just put in some more hoses. I've got all that stuff now, so I can do that. I can't do the blueberries because I still haven't got those trolleys. I tried to order some, but there was no stock. So I will have to try elsewhere for them. And if it's not too cold out the front, I may try and move some of those other roses, because it's a good time to try and do that now. But we'll just see what the weather's like. If it's a howling easterly or a ripping southerly, it won't happen. I'd just like to thank everyone who's subscribed today. As I've said many, many times, it's lovely to see the numbers ticking up. It just means that what I'm doing is connecting to other people, and that's great. However, if you haven't subscribed to date, please do and follow along. Then you'll get notifications of when I pop out a new video. It is free to do it. I know the word subscribe sort of indicates that you've got to pay, but no, it is free. In addition, if you can like and comment on the video, it all helps with the algorithm and just helps promote the video in the algorithm. If you want to see what me and the cats are up to on a daily basis, I also have a Facebook page by the same name, The Kiwi Barefoot Gardener. Love to see you over there, and if you come over, it'd be even better if you could follow. Right, I'm going to finish my hot lemon honey drink and see what else is going on around the place. But until next week's vlog, it's bye from me.